will there be a fourth match with Conor McGregor? And if not right away, what's next for Conor McGregor and what's next for Dustin Poirier?
I had like an idea of what I was going to say at first, but now that I think about it, I really don't think there's going to be a fourth match. Um, how that the second match ended, how this one's ending, I just really don't feel like there's that much push for it anymore. They were kind of this is like the tail end of that, bad blood. I think, as a Connor fan when he first came in, I think everybody's just kind of getting tired of the antics. You have to perform at your very best every time and to dominate people to be able to do things that he was doing earlier on. And I think he's just not at his peak as his best, whether it's physically or mentally. Um, and so it's just disappointing to watch. So I wouldn't want to see a fourth match. I think that Connor needs to start working his way back up the rankings and fighting other fighters, not just picking the fights that he feels that he has a better chance at, or he creates uh, some sort of clout by, talking bad about somebody. He needs to start getting back into the game the right way. Because it shows, he's not a high level fighter anymore. He might have high level moments, but he's not a high level fighter. Um, and so I don't think there should be a fourth fight. And I think moving forward, Connor's got to start, picking off some of the young guys and working his way back up. And Dustin, man, I mean, hey, who wouldn't want to see Dustin and Oliveira? I think that would be a wonderful, nice, easy little matchup. And I love this division right now because Oliveira has all these guys just sitting there ready to fight. Maybe not championship material, maybe not that peak championship material, whether it's Gaethje, Poirier, all these guys that are sitting there. But yeah, it's a nice division for the champion to start picking off some guys. So I'm ready to see that.
So who's next for Conor before I go?
I don't know, man. I think he's got to work on his foot first. But
Think Diaz waits around for that one?
maybe. I don't know, man. Maybe Kyron retires. Maybe Connor's done after this. That's a serious injury. That's a
Oh
serious
man, I
injury.
guess before I say what I'm gonna say, right? I'll start by saying what you finished. His injury notwithstanding, it's really hard to get out of bed when you have $100 million.
And a
It's
broken
just,
ankle
I mean, we'll be training volleyball, yes, for fun, right? We're bringing a
for
film crew,
fun.
a couple of drones. um, McKibbins, we love you, so we're not saying nothing about that. All right, just so don't be so sensitive. So all right, so now I'll start saying by what I'm saying. There are three kinds of Connor fans. There's the casuals that are like, oh my God, this guy talks the game and backs it up. There are people who watch other sports but watch the UFC that knows that him winning is good for the sport and then moves the needle. And then there's this group of diehards that if Connor like shit on someone's head and punched the old dude in the face, they defend him tooth and nail. They'll be like the old guy deserved it or what the old guy do. And those are the ones, oh my God, I wish I didn't have to freaking deal with, because if I were a guy who's been watching MMA as long as I have, and I would say around 17 years, pretty much since Tough One. Tough One got me engaged. Then I started watching retrospective matches, the Gracies, UFC 1 or whatever. Um, I was saying the whole time, when he moves to 155, he's going to have a problem. He's going to run into fighters whose reach advantage is almost his. And you know more than anyone, Rob, it's not how long your arms are, your wingspan is, but if you can use it, if you know how to use it. Connor knows how to use it. He's
Yeah.
5'9" with a 6'2" wingspan. And I knew you faced Chad Mendez, 67 inches to 74. Jose Aldo, 68 inches to 74. You like that? Nah, I don't like that either. And the only fighters who have actually given him problems are fighters that are left-handed. It's Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier. And fighters whose reach, wingspan qualify as close enough. Khabib's is 70, right? And Dustin Poirier is 70. And Nate Diaz is 76. Um, so I do want Conor to fight. I want him to fight Nate Diaz. they will never ever give him Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson right now just lost 2 in a row, and he's chomping at the bit, and he would walk through fire to have that match for McGregor. I'd like them to fight McGregor because I want Fergie to have the payday. You know, as far as Fergie won 11 matches in a row before he lost those 2. Okay. Conor doesn't want those matches. He wants Ferguson as the lowest ranked fighter. Maybe he wants Gaethje because he knows Gaethje is one to stand and not want to wrestle him. So I would like to see him fight Justin Gaethje, Chandler. That might not happen either because Chandler's wrestling is ridiculous. Or Diaz. Mm-hmm. Now Dustin Poirier, there's only one fight to make here, and that's Charles Oliveira. The fans want that fight. The UFC wants that fight. The casuals, if Conor gave a shit about anybody but himself, he should have been like, Dustin deserved this. Guys, watch that match because I'll be back and I'll want to fight the winner of that. So he right. He could have put himself in a situation where he could still make it about himself and still put the UFC up. You know, but he didn't do that. And the problem is when you have this one-man investment and the one man don't feel like fighting, then the whole company is prisoner to that one man. And Rob, you know, I know I'm going a little long here and I'm sorry about that, but we've seen that. He won the title at 145, jumped the line, right? Fought Eddie Alvarez, who's by the way, whose wingspan is also 68 inches. So right champion, right time, you know what I'm saying? And won. By the way, his only win at 155, okay? He split with Nate Diaz at 170. He fought Donald Cerrone at 170. So his 3 losses are Khabib by mauling. I won't even call that by submission, by mauling, okay? Because Khabib has this way of making you give up 2 rounds before you tap out and say uncle. Dustin Poirier, who ate his best shots, and came and gave and pieced him up at in the second round, and Poirier again, where I don't know if the ankle was fractured by the check kick, even though that kick. If you remember, did they show you the replay? The kick hit the patella, man. That's nasty. That's nasty. When you go shin to patella, he was kicking too high to begin with. He was trying to imitate Dustin Poirier, and Dustin Poirier was doing calf kicks. And that's different because that calf kicks, man, that just cuts off. You can't feel your foot if you get kicked by 1 or 2 of those the right way. So for Conor, he's got more matches because one way or another, everyone's still going to pay to see him fight. He's lost 3 in a row, but he's still box office. He's still the biggest attraction. He could fight actor Jeremy Piven, all right? And I'm like, okay, just make sure Piven doesn't win, all right? Yeah, so next matchup for me, Poirier versus Oliveira, and I'd love to see Conor versus Tony, but if they're looking for box office, go to Gaethje, because Gaethje has won Gaethje has only fought, I think, 5 times in the UFC and has won 7 bonuses. He's won 7 bonuses in 5 fights. That's box office. So...
yeah, he does the most.
What was your favorite match in the prelims of the main card? Actually, I want to put the main card up first. Mine is a prelim, but I'm only putting the main card up because I have a feeling I know what yours is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, mine has to be O'Malley. That was just like the most technical beatdown of somebody. And again, that guy might not be on his level, but right. You know, he took more beatings the best way. That I've seen from a lot of people. Like he was straight up walking through a lot of things still. I just would love to have seen what he would do if he would throw a bit more. You know, I think he kind of was trying to test O'Malley in the beginning and didn't really test him after. But, you know, definitely a warrior, that guy. But, man, I've never seen somebody's face look one way before a fight and then literally look something completely different.
Only after. In the movies,
literally looked
man.
like he aged. It looked like he aged.
Only in the movies, dude. Only in the Rocky movies, like against Drago, against like Apollo Creed, that second fight where he's just... Remember the 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and he's just leading with his face? That's something you only see in movies. That was crazy. So my favorite fight... And of course, I'm a prisoner of the moment, and it's still under everybody's radar. This guy right here, Carlos Condit, decision loss to Max Griffin. I don't think he's still far removed from like any championship picture, and this is not a win, this is a loss. But I'm glad that he showed that he can get in there, he can still scrap. Max Griffin hits really, really hard, and he ate some shots. So a lot of people thought that he's past his prime, and maybe he is. But I think for the fighters that still want to fight, you want to make sure they don't get hurt. And I like that he was in there. And for those of you that are new to the UFC or new to MMA, man, watch his match against Robbie Lawler. That was like match of the year, a 5-round fight with Robbie Lawler that could have went either way. Watch some of his fights in WEC. Watch his fight with Nick Diaz, highly technical 5-round match. At the time, he's 32 and 14. 29 of his 32 wins are stoppages. So, I mean, if he gets a decision, give him come on, give the guy a break. Give the guy a pass, all right? So,